She never missed anything. However, our relationship grew tremendously after the passing of my grandfather. For the first time, Nana was left in the house alone and wanted someone to stay the night with her. One night turned into 4 years. Every morning, Nana and I would wake up, get dressed, eat breakfast, and I usually made it to school by first recess. I would go home and do all of my homework except math, and then around 5 or 6, I would hear her Cadillac pull up in the driveway. Once I got to Nana's house, I would pretend I didn't understand my math homework because then I knew she would help me, which really meant she was going to do it for me in the middle of the night. My task in the morning would be to copy her work onto my paper on the ride to school. As a result, I am a junior at Spelman College, still struggling with long division. After staying with Nana for so long, I found the love I didn't know existed at Walmart. Now, of course, I had been to Walmart many times before, but something about going with Nana built a deeper connection. I was exposed to departments I didn't know existed, and it was never a rush job. Sometimes we would be in there an hour or more. As I got older, I would wander through the store by myself, and before long, I would hear the person on the intercom say, "Morgan Jefferson, your grandmother is waiting for you." It was time to go. Fast forward to my high school graduation, a day she prayed she'd be able to see. As I marched on the Corpus field, the first face I saw seated in the handicap section was my Nana's. A few months later, I was on my way to Spelman, and of course she wasn't going to allow me to go without a whole bunch of instructions. If I don't remember anything else she ever told me for the rest of my life, I'll remember her famous words at my going away party. She said, "It's coming up again. Don't think you're going to get down there and act crazy and we won't know, because it's coming up again. You might want to run for office one day. Oh, honey, don't you fool yourself. It's coming up again." I cannot tell you how many times those words have been the deciding factor on my decisions while away. Nana called often to make sure I was getting my work done and stayed out of trouble. Sometimes I would talk to her on my way to class and say, "Nana, I have to go in class now." 20 minutes later, she'd finally hang up and let me enter the classroom. October 25th, 2013. Mom called me and told me Nana was in the hospital and they think it's cancer. It was a statement that was hard for me to digest because although Nana was getting older, she was never sick. The next day I called and talked to her an hour and a half, and never once did she mention to me that she was in the hospital. As time progressed, she still wouldn't tell me what was going on, but she constantly told me not to worry about her, to get my work done, and do right, because it's coming up again. November 24, 2013, our first FaceTime call. Nana couldn't believe that I could see her, and she could see me through my dad's iPad. Every 10 minutes, she would stop and say, "Can you see me?" And I would reply, "Yes, Nana, I see you. You're wearing a bright red house dress and sitting in the dining room." She would crack up laughing. I started giving her virtual tours of my dorm, and she would even take over the conversation sometimes with my roommate. I also FaceTimed her after it snowed in Atlanta so she could enjoy the snow as well. I finally made it home for Christmas and made sure I spent at least 1 hour of every day with her. As far as I was concerned, she wasn't going anywhere anytime soon. Once January came around, it was time for me to go back to school. Nana gave me a big hug and told me that she loved me and that I was her baby. As she walked to the door, she once again assured me not to worry about her and that she would be here when I got home for the summer. March 5th, 2013, 5:27 p.m. I text my mom, "How's Nana today?" I was in my room packing, preparing to come home the next morning for spring break. I knew Nana wasn't doing so well, so I moved my flight up a few days, anxiously trying to get home to see her. 5:47 p.m., that text was answered with a phone call. Nana just passed at 5:03. My heart fell to my feet. I couldn't believe that she was gone. gone less than 24 hours before I got home. Although I was initially upset that I didn't get to see her, after my parents described to me the things that were going on with her after I talked to her on Saturday, I actually felt relieved. I realized then that I never saw my Nana suffer, not even once during this tough time in her life. For the rest of my life, I'll only remember the Nana that was full of life, upbeat, and never let anything or anyone stop her from what she wanted to do. I'll only remember the Nana that was full of wisdom and instructions, and she was going to say what she had to say whether or not she wanted to hear it. I'll only remember the Nana that would call and have a full conversation with my voicemail box. I realized that all of my memories of Nana will forever be nothing but laughs and good times. Nana, there are no words to express how much I love and appreciate you. Thankfully, I was able to tell you that I loved you just a few days before you transitioned. Your last words to me that you repeated over and over again were, "I just want you to do well." If I was never motivated before, I promise these words will push me for the days to come. Although you're no longer here with me, I can't help but smile at the thought of you reunited with Papa, your parents, your brothers and sisters who have gone before you. You always told me it's coming up again, but now I'm telling you I'll see you again one day.